In February, Farm News Media visited Windswept Farms, a sheep operation run by Mike and Heather Ludlam. Mike's sister passed away from Huntington's disease. Researchers are testing a treatment for Huntington's that uses GM1, produced by lambs with GM1 gangliosidosis, a neurological disease. The Ludlams are breeding lambs to be part of the research.
We bred a group of ewes this fall, and we purchased 12 carrier ewes from the Hollers farm. They are carrying one copy of the gene for GM1 gangliosidosis. So we bred those 12 ewes as well as about 20 of our own ewes to a GM1 carrier ram. So we bred them in the fall, and we lambed the end of March through the first 2 weeks in April. And we have about 45 lambs on the ground now. I've blood tested all the lambs as they've been born, and we'll be sending the blood off to Avanti Polar Lipids within the next week. Those 12 carrier ewes, we got about a dozen. They were all young ewe lambs. We got about a dozen lambs from them. So of those 12 lambs, we're hoping 25%, or 3, may actually have GM1 gangliosidosis. And they'll be transported back to the Hollers at weaning time. And they have a climate-controlled barn. Well, they'll be raised with other lambs that also have GM1 gangliosidosis. They do tend to get a little bit of neurologic difficulty by the time they're 4 or 5 months old. So they want to raise them with other lambs that are all the same. So they don't have to compete with normal lambs. So they won't be out in my pasture, maybe getting confused. They'll be in a very nice climate-controlled barn with a self-feeder with other lambs their own age. Then they'll be butchered when they're 5 to 6 months old, just like the regular lambs are. But they'll be butchered at the Hollers farm, and they'll be processed there, and their tissues will be collected and sent back to Avanti Polar Lipids to have the GM1 extracted from their tissues.
Congressman Fred Upton visited the farm to get firsthand information about the research and to talk about funding for the next level.
One of the big issues that I've worked on a bipartisan basis is H.R. 6. It's the Upton DeGette bill, DeGette being a Democrat from Colorado, me, of course, a Republican from Michigan. And it's a bill that not only expedites the approvals of drugs and devices with the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, but part of that includes as much as $10 to $12 billion more over the next 5 to 8 years for research for the NIH. So they're the gold stone, I guess you could say. They're the ones that actually direct a lot of the research, and we know that if they get this additional money above and beyond the normal appropriated funds, that they're likely to put it into the diseases of the brain. So that's not only Huntington's, but that's Parkinson's, MS, obviously Alzheimer's. We know Alzheimer's is going to cost Medicare $1 trillion just in the year 2050. So anything that we find that we spend less than that, to me, is a savings, let alone the impact on the suffering of so many families when they get some of these awful diseases. So for what could be a pittance out of the overall research funds, maybe we can find a cure right here in this barn.